To lock a user ID in the SFS system, the transaction code is SU01. But before we do that, let us go and check into the table USR02 for the field ulock. So let us go to the transaction EC16, enter the table name USR02, hit the enter key, and here let's go and enter the user ID that we are going to lock. Say 2000, hit execute. Now the ulock field is the user lock. So let's go and change the user parameters and take the field name, and you'll see the uFlag. The uFlag field is set to 0. Now these are the different values depending on how the user ID is getting logged. These values will be updated in this field for this in the table USR02. So for this user ID, the uFlag field is set to 0, which means this user ID is unlocked. So let us go to SU01 and log that user ID SU01 and log the user ID test user 2000. Now to log the user ID, click on the lock icon. Now this is a toggle between lock and unlock, which what it means is if the user ID is unlocked, then if you click on it, it will get locked. If the user ID is locked, then when you click on this icon, the user ID can get unlocked. So right now let's click on it and it says the user ID is not locked. So if you want to lock it, click on the lock icon. Now at the bottom of the screen you will see the message saying that user ID test user 2000 locked. Now let us go to the table SE16, go to the transaction SE16 and enter the table, use the table USR02, and let's check for that uFlag field again. Now uFlag field is updated with 64. Now what is 64 here? Logged by administrator. So if the user ID, let's say, gets logged due to incorrect logon attempts, that means the password was entered wrong incorrectly certain period number of times, then this full field would be updated to 128. So you can lock a user ID using SU01, but that is only with only for one user ID at a time. One user ID at a time. If you want to lock a mass volume of user IDs, then you can use the transaction SU10 or SU12. So you can go to SU10, enter the user IDs here, and click on the lock icon.